thought I had one, but all I have is a branch. I'll tell you what, crankbaits are a lot of fun to fish. There's no doubt about it. I like to use them whenever I can, especially at certain times. They're a unique bait to be able to control the depth, and you're tricking the fish into thinking of something else, either hurt fish or dying fish or even a crawdad. There's a variety of them. Let me show you some of the varieties that you have in your tackle box so you know when to use them. The one I got on here has a little bit of a short bill, but it dives pretty well. Let me show you some of the reasons you'd pick a crankbait. One is you look at the overall size. If the shad or so forth is in the bait fish is in the lake and they're about this size, which is what I saw today on this little lake, and that's one thing you'd pick. Other thing, we got a bright day, so I like to use bright colors. Another selection, again, colors is, is always a little controversy, but nonetheless, you pick a color that you like and it will work well. To control the depth is two things. One is speed, typically, and the other thing is the size of the bill and where that lock that you tie on is located on the bill. This one here, as you can maybe be able to see, it's about midway back, so there's about 3/4 of an inch from here to the bill, and the overall size makes this dive pretty deep, real controllable depth. Let me show you a couple other ones here. Here's one too, has a big bill on it, same size as the other. Again, this is almost an inch back from where you tie to the tip of the bill. The other thing is the size and the width and the design of the bill itself really controls the wriggle in it, so you know which way it goes back and forth, how much or how little it would go. The depth is still controlled really by that. So sometimes you can get a big bill, but it's not necessarily going real deep. Now when you get a little shallow bill, like here, this is a little crankbait here that would go in there. It's got a real shallow, it's real small, but this goes real deep for its size. Again, the crankbait size and the size of the bill from where it ties on. So the closer it is, like in this case, it's real close, so this will only go a foot or so under the water because it's almost a surface bait as well. So looking at the bait itself, where it ties, the color and size, and they almost all got rattles now. Sometimes that's good. It might trigger that fish and they're biting when he follows it, and here's that rattle, brings him up for some depth, especially in a clear lake. Let me show you a couple ways when you use it. I like to once in a while put a deep diver on. That way you can control the depth, either by speed and by where you want it to go. Sometimes you want it to go down and tick that bottom, and like this color is a little bit like a crawdad, and that will help get some fish in the boat by using a crawdad and let it hit the bottom. I'll show you and see if we can pick that up on film. Now here I got the little crankbait on that resembles a crawdad. I'm going to show you along the shore here, and hopefully you can pick it up and see how this would go. Now, say it was out deeper water. When it goes down, it touches real quick, and you see how it's hitting the bottom? It's going along, it's hitting the bottom, just like a crawdad would, and it's stirring up the bottom as it goes. So I bring it all the way through. It stirs up the bottom and ticks along the ray. Let's do that again. Cast it out here, and then I let it go down. And as I bring it down, it just hits the bottom, just ticking the bottom. When it does that, you see a little stir up of the bottom. It stirs up just like a crawdad would, and that attracts the fish. Of course, you wouldn't necessarily always do it this close to shore, but pretty close to shore when you're out in the boat casting in, or in this case, you'd cast out to the side, reel it back towards you in the same ray. So it works pretty well. Let me show you one other thing that often fishermen stay away from is when they get around brush piles. Well, they don't give me my lures either, so I know it costs money when you lose one. But you can hit a certain amount of brush piles and be able to get over them, and usually it attracts the fish, because sometimes you hit that brush pile, that little stick that's sticking out, it hits it, bounces off it, and if there's a fish nearby, that's usually when they slam it. I think we can show you right here, out on the lake here, there's a little branch sticking out. And as I bring this in, as we hopefully are on that branch, as you see it, the lure comes up to the branch, hits the branch, wiggles right around it, and keeps right on going. Let's try that again so you can see it. Cast it out there again, let it get down to its depth. As it hits that branch, hits it, reel round, goes right down and round over it, so it doesn't get hot. What does it is, again, that bill, bigger bill like this will actually hit the branch first, it tips it up, keeps the hooks really away from it, and as long as you don't go jerk real quick and get the line tangled in it, it will pop around and come right back. And when you're doing that out on the lake where the bass may be, boy, that's a good catcher, because it just triggers that bass. Sometimes it's sitting there, hits the branch, triggers a ray, and the bass will pick it up, and you got one. So crankbaits can be very versatile. You can use them again for depth. You can use a deeper one than you actually need to go down to the bottom, or you can reel it in. Another thing, when you're reeling it in, The speed that you reel it, as I mentioned, really controls some of the depth. Most people think if I really want to get that down deep, I got to reel real fast. And that's actually just the opposite. When you cast out there, let it reel a couple times to get it jerking straight down, and then reel it kind of slow, and that will bring it down. Because as you bring it down to the depth that the lure is designed for, if you reel too fast, you start pulling it up, and it doesn't give it a chance to actually reach the depth. Crankbaits are a lot of fun. I encourage you to use them now and then out on the lake. Use different colors, different sizes. Check out the bait on the bait fish that's in the lake. Try to get something size like that. Get a color that you like. Get out there and cast it. Crankbaits are fun. I'll see you on the water.